Today we'll be doing a local twist on a Middle Eastern classic, kibbeh. Alright, so today we will be doing a twist on the traditional kibbeh. So with this local twist on the traditional Middle Eastern dish, we will be using Grace's corned beef, like as opposed to the beef or lamb. So in kibbeh, you will have two types of textures. You have the outside shell that has more of a full body, and then there is a cooked filling that will go on the inside. So the first thing we're going to do is start by opening a tin of corned beef here. Okay, so with this corned beef, may be a bit of a challenge because it's been a while since I've opened a corned beef. I think the last time was August of last year, actually. So let's get this going. And I know most of us will know corned beef to be just with the onions. So we're going to keep some of that flair, and we're going to just change it up a bit. So I have one tin that I'm opening up here, and I will get into my container. So I'm just going to get all of this out. So for this recipe, we will be using 2 tins of Grace's corned beef. So I'll just get the second one here going. So here we have 2 tins of corned beef separated. We will have one for the filling and then one for the outside of the kibbeh. So I'm going to set the inside one side for now and then focus on the outside corned beef that we have for the kibbeh. So with this, we will add a couple different spices as well as quinoa. So in traditional kibbeh, they will use the bulgur wheat. However, we will be using quinoa today. So first thing is that we're going to add some of our spices here. So we're going to put in some cinnamon, chili powder. We're going to incorporate some cardamom. We have some turmeric. And then we have some jeera. Definitely bring all the spices together here. So we're going to get this incorporated. And from here, we're going to add our quinoa. So we have cooked quinoa here. We're going to get this incorporated. So what this quinoa will do, it will help to bring about some texture in the kibbeh as well as some crunch. So we have all the spices in there, the quinoa, and we're going to set this aside now and work on the filling for the kibbeh. So get the pan hot, and we're going to add a little bit of oil to help with the saute of the onions. Have that going. Let me get this going. So you just want to lightly saute the onions, not to get too brown, but you do want some of the sweetness to come out of the onions here. So you're going to saute this for a couple of seconds before we add our corned beef. Okay, so now that we have the onions going, we're going to add our corned beef. And we're just going to mash this down a bit and get it going. So I personally love to have corned beef with lots of onion in it because to me, I think that's it's just like a perfect balance. I would generally have this like over some white rice, but this sort of filling we will have for the kibbeh here. So we do want to get this a bit cooked together before we continue with the dish. So we have the corned beef and the onions perfectly cooked. We will take this off as well as allow it to cool before we start the filling process. Okay, so we're going to add 1 egg to help bind the kibbeh here. So I'm just going to whisk up 1 egg and incorporate it. Just get that nice and beaten. So now we're going to start assembling the kibbeh. Okay, so we have the first one going here, and it's going to cook very quickly because corned beef is already cooked. So we just want it to get nice and crunchy on the outside and warm throughout the inside. So that quinoa is going to help with that crunch factor as well. So it wouldn't take very long, a couple seconds. So I will say about 30 to 45 seconds just to get it nice and golden brown on the outside. So that has held together quite nicely. And we're going to continue frying up this batch of kibbeh here. Okay, so we have fried up all of the kibbeh, or kibbeh, depending how you want to pronounce it. So they're fried up, they're golden, they look amazing. Like as I mentioned, we did use egg to help bind it all together. It's not traditional, however, we do need it for this particular recipe here. We are actually going to go ahead and prepare the dressing or the dipping sauce to kind of go along with it. So we have some yogurt, some cucumber, some grated cucumber, and we have some cardamom that we're going to also include into this to mix it, to kind of blend all those flavors together. So we have some mint, which is a beautiful addition to the cucumber mix. And then we are going to put in a sprig of thyme. This kind of adds to the freshness of this particular dipping sauce. A half a squeeze of lime. And then to add a bit of heat to it, we're going to add Grace's hot pepper sauce. So we're going to add a couple dashes in. That was a little bit more than a couple dashes. And a touch of salt and pepper. So this can be made ahead of time as well as placed in the refrigerator just so that it kind of combines and all the flavors blend together. So we're going to plate this all up now. Okay, so now that we've plated up our kibbeh as well as our dipping sauce, time for the best part, the taste test. So I'm going for the crunchiest one and dip it right in the sauce there. This is delicious. It is not too salty because I know corned beef tends to have a very salty taste, but when you add the spices and the onions, it balances it out beautifully. The crunch of the quinoa is perfect. The dipping sauce has that lactic acid from the limes and the freshness of the mint, which is blending lovely with this. On the other side, it is quite tasty. The crunchiness from the outside of the kibbeh is perfect. So now that we have this bites for like entertainment, the perfect thing to pair it along with will be a rum punch with tropical rhythms. And this is the pineapple guava. So we're going to mix this. I'm going to add some of this, a little bit of rum, and just to finish it off, a squeeze of fresh lime. Perfect. Cheers. Refreshing. Thanks to Grace for sponsoring this episode. Grace products can be found in supermarkets nationwide. I do hope that you can give this kibbeh recipe with corned beef a try.